How we doing, ladies and gentlemen, over on YouTube? My name is Wolf, and welcome to the first episode of Diablo 3's Endgame Survival Guide, I suppose is the best way to put it. I got asked by a couple of people to do something like this to showcase how Diablo 3's Endgame works, because they always wanted to play it, and they never got around to, or just haven't really played it. They've been playing mostly PoE, that sort of stuff. So I'm going to be pretty much calling this series Rags to Top 1000, basically, because I've been able to get multiple Top 1000 spots on the Diablo 3 leaderboards, and I'm going to be trying to do that in this series with Veselin over here beside me. We're going to be trying to go for a duo Top 1000, as well as I'll probably try and get my own solo top 1k as well. Whether or not I can get there at the end of the season is we'll see, right? Generally, I play extremely hard for like 2-3 weeks, try and get as high as humanly possible, try and get a rank 1 to rank 15-ish, and then call it a day there. So I will show you the whole process of me attempting to get one of my high-ranked screenshots, and just how I play the endgame of Diablo 3. So, to start, I have hit level 70, I am level 8 Paragon level. Now, I am extremely undergeared, so I'm going to take you through the process of gearing myself up, and then I'll explain a little bit of what we're going to be doing next. So essentially, we just hit level 70. We are running a bunch of experience gear because we were playing as optimally as possible. This is in seasonal adventure mode, by the way. That is where I would recommend you play if you're doing endgame stuff. It's where you can actually get access to the endgame. And a lot of what you're going to be doing is going to be based off of what you find. But in this sort of scenario, there are finite things that I can do. So, essentially, there is something called a Hadrig's Gift. The seasonal rewards can give you access to a full set pretty much instantly. In this case, it's Unhallowed Essence for my class. I'm playing Demon Hunter. And this is the set that I wanted to actually use, which is very nice for me. This set will be different for you, depending on what class you play, depending on what season. So this is season 23. 24 could have it be the Impale set. It could be a different set entirely. Right? It rotates every single season. So, this is the thing we're going to be trying to achieve, because once we get this, we can amp the difficulty up and start doing a shit ton of higher content, ton of damage, and get even more gear exponentially. So, to get that, you have to go through all 4 of these chapters, up to chapter 4 of Hadrig's Gift, the season journey here. So, in this case, we need to kill Adria and kill Gom, and that will give us the first set here. And when you finish Chapter 1, you'll get a little mail down in the corner here that will give you a Hadrig's Gift. You pop it open, it'll drop 2 pieces of your endgame set bonus, or of your endgame set that is right here. So we will get that, and then we'll immediately put those on. Then we'll do Chapter 2. These can also be completed at any time, right? So I have Chapter 2 stuff done, I have Chapter 3 stuff done, and some Chapter 4 stuff done, just from passively playing and leveling up. So check through these, see what you need to do. Complete them as a team or as a group. If you're playing on your own, that's fine as well. Just go through and get everything you need. That's one of my teammates is fucking around over there. But yeah. We're going to go through and get all of this, but to be able to do this sort of stuff, we need to get some actual gear, because one of these challenges is to clear a Greater Rift level 20, I do believe, which is not that difficult, I'll be honest with you. But for some people it can be, and for certain classes it's a little bit more difficult than others. So, when you first hit 70, how do we go about getting geared? Well, it's quite simple. Generally, I would be picking some stuff up off the floor when you're doing your first few rifts. You can alternatively drop the difficulty to like Master, or as low as possible as you need to go, and then start clearing things. But when I'm trying to be extremely fast, I'll just come over to the blacksmith here, and I will fully upgrade him to level 12, and then craft everything. I recommend you do your challenge rift. This is something you can find at the main menu, where you select your adventure mode. There's a challenge rift. If a new season is starting, do not do it until the season is open. When the season's on, then you can claim your challenge rift, and you can have all of the resources and stuff in game here. That's how I have 1,000,000 gold. It gives you 5 million, as well as a bunch of crafting materials from the get-go. Gives you a bunch of death breaths, a bunch of other sorts of crafting stuff as well. Very, very useful. So, do your challenge rift, get all of the resources in game, and then once you hit 70, you can start crafting some gear. So I need to replace pretty much everything here because most of my gear is absolute trash. So we're going to start off with a weapon. See, first of all, if you have any specific things for your weaponry. So in my case, I have archery, which will make it so my bows deal increased damage, crossbows, critical hit damage, hand crossbows, 5% crit hit chance. You see, right? So in this case, we want either a crossbow or a bow. Either is fine. And then for whatever other passives, you can mess around and throw on a couple other things. I'll throw awareness on there. I'll cover the build as we get there as well, but just going to do gear for right now. So we're going to go for a two-handed crossbow and try and craft as good as we can. The best thing to get in regards to an action RPG generally is to go for a weapon first, because you want something as high damaging as possible to be able to kill shit with. That's not terrible. We can get better, though. We need to be careful because of the amount of crafting mats we have. We don't want to over-splurge. That kind of sucks. We're looking for damage, dexterity, attack speed, and then some other damage bonus. We don't need vitality, and a socket would also be very, very nice in the weapon category. Not entirely bad. I can roll that vitality to... I can come over to the Mystic here, and I can use the enchanting feature to roll this vitality to dexterity, if possible. And that'll only cost me 3 resource here, 3 veiled crystals. Dexterity. And now it's 8% damage downgrade, but because of the socket, we can actually put in a Marquise Emerald or an Imperial Ruby. Either of these are going to be damage bonus. I don't know which one would be the highest damage bonus right now, so I'm going to theorycraft it and find out. So if I put the red one in, we go up 0.9%. Take that out. If I put in the yellow one, we go up 3.3%. Okay, well, not entirely great. It could be better, I suppose. Do I want to actually use this one? My current crossbow is kind of fine. I cheated a crossbow for leveling, and I got level requirement reduction. So, could be better. I mean, if that chance to deal area damage plus attack speed would be in a really, really good spot right now. But, I mean, chance to deal area damage on hits, not bad with multi-shot. So, yeah, I mean, should be fine. I think I'll just wait. But otherwise, I need to make remnants of my gear. So, other thing to do is use your blood shards on the cheapest piece you possibly can. So, in this case, we find Kadala, and I need to get a quiver. We're going to look for a legendary quiver if we can, but the thing is the quivers are 25 shards. So, you can spam buy a bunch of them, look through, and see what has the highest damage potential. Jeez, these all suck. God, did I just make some godly gear? I mean, I guess. See if we can get a legendary one. Nothing. Damn. Alright, well, no luck there, I suppose. But I do have some leftover gear I picked up off the floor. So in this case, we're going to equip those shoulders, and we're going to equip that chest piece, which should be quite nice for us. I need to replace my Leoric's crown, so I'll come over here and make a helmet. Wherever the hell helmet is. Sages might not be a bad idea right now, depending. This is a farming set that can be of use. This will make it so that you double the amount of death breaths that drop. I wonder if emanates means your whole party is affected by it. So only one guy has to wear sages. I wonder. Maybe. But we're going to make a ascended crown here. Keep in mind the amount of resource we're spending. That is not great, but not terrible. Not every piece has to be optimized for damage, by the way. In that case, it's very nice, though. That elemental arrow can be changed. So we're going to put that on. I'll show you what I mean by changed in a second. Look over the rest of my gear. That necklace is like best in slot. I have another pair of these gloves, or bracers, sorry. And we'll just equip those because they're just fought off better. And level 67, not everything has to be 70, not entirely while you're just like gearing up here, right? So we are going to be low on resources. 61 gear is not the end of the world. These boots have movement speed, so I am going to keep them. And rings, I do need to change as well. So we're going to take a look at the vendors because making rings is kind of a bitch. Just to show you what it takes to forge jewelry. It takes gems that I don't have. So in that case, we are going to find... You can Kadala for rings too, but they're kind of difficult to get. He doesn't sell rings. Feels bad. There's a bunch of ring vendors in different places too. Which guy is it? It's the collector, I believe, that sells rings. Or if not, I guess. Strength. You see 300 strength, whereas I have 100 dex. 500 strength on the necklace. Yeah, I need to keep an eye out for rings when I'm in rifts and whatnot. So now we know what to look for, and now we can go about pretty much optimizing. I think I'll craft a pair of pants very quickly. Pants. Make sure not to burn out all of my resources. That's not bad. I can optimize those too. The boots I'll keep the movement speed on. You know that the base stats went up, right? Like the dex is 60 higher, the vitality is 100 higher. That's where like the level difference comes into play. So, alright. So we'll call that for now. And we shall bin that, and okay. So now we come over to the Mystic, which we have trained up using our Challenge Rift resources and whatnot, and we're going to optimize the gear for a very, very small price. So things like Fan of Knives damage is exceptionally useless in this case, right? So we would like anything else in its place. So in this sort of scenario, we want Vitality, Life, Armor, Life Regen, Cooldown, or Resource cost. Or anything you are using damage-wise is not entirely bad either. But in this case, this does nothing for me because Fan of Knives isn't even on my bar. So we don't want to spend too much, so we'll just do a very small reroll, and we'll take whatever we can get. We don't need perfect gear, because we're going to be replacing it all with the set gear we get from the Hadrix bonus. So now we go over to the helmet. Elemental Arrow isn't even used, right? So crit chance, life per hit, multi-shot damage would be nice, because I am playing a multi-shot character. But life per hit's fine. Don't want to spend too much resource, right? Hang on, let me just tell my team that I'm good to go, because we are playing on the day of launch. So, Entangling Shot, useless, right? Sockets or regen is preferable. And socket, that's fine. In armor sockets, you want to pretty much always put a yellow gem for all resistance to get your resistance from spells and whatnot as high as possible, so you don't get one shot. That goes for pretty much every class. On higher tiers, you see some people using their team or their class's damage gem. So like dexterity gems for Demon Hunter, that sort of stuff. When you get up to higher levels, you need to squeeze out as much damage as humanly possible. So in that case, it's not exactly a bad investment. So that is most of my optimization, I'm pretty sure. Simple enough. So I'm going to keep an eye out for rings, as well as other pieces that I need. I need a belt, I need boots, and yeah, so I'll keep an eye out for those as I level. Now, alternatively, the next thing to do is to make sure your build is as optimal as possible for this sort of scenario. Now, thing is that you want to play around what build you're aiming for. So in this case, we're going to be getting pieces of multi-shot, right? So we want to use multi-shot and things that work with it. In this case, I have multi-shot on, and I'm playing a full multi-shot build that is rigged up and works quite well together. This is pretty much the final build that I'll be playing, full stop, with a few changes and passives more than likely. But take a look and Google around for whatever class you are playing. I can't give you a build for every single class, but there is going to be something that is extremely optimal. A quick rundown for you. Barbarian is Whirlwind normally. Witch Doctor is like Rain of Toads, Acid Rain, or like Acid Cloud. Wizard, I play some rendition of Black Hole with Disintegrate for your main sort of damage dealer. This Demon Hunter I play multi-shot, Crusader I don't play, Necro I don't play. So I don't know what to give you for that sort of scenario. But yeah, in this case, 168k, not entirely terrible for Torment 1. And then we're going to optimize around whatever legendaries we find and get access to. One other thing that you can do, which I learned literally today, is that you can craft a weapon and you can put it into the cube and upgrade it to be a legendary via upgrade rare item. Now, you'll have access to this from doing your challenge rift, so I could, in theory, go about making a... well, I can't because I'm 2 desperate breaths short. Go about making a legendary crossbow or bow or what have you. So in this case, this is very important, look for the unique weapon that your build uses, the final build uses, right? So in this case, for this, on Hallowed Essence, it uses Yang's Recurve. Now, in my case, I got a Yang's Recurve immediately, but it was a 151 shitty roll, so I put it in the cube instead, and this is going to be on for the rest of the character's lifespan, basically, unless I find one and get something else in here. So yeah, find out what your build uses. If you don't know how to do that, press Shift L. It'll bring up the leaderboards and go to normal or season, depending on how late into the season it is. And then you can go and find the build you're using. Click this drop down, and you can see the people at the top. Click the top guy, and you'll see, you know, he's wielding a Yang's Recurve with Dawn in here. And Dead Man's Legacy, right? So I know the quiver that I want to try and find is Dead Man's Legacy, right? The bow I want to wield is Yang's Recurve. So if I were to upgrade anything, I would want to upgrade a bow, right? Not a crossbow, not a hand crossbow. I want to upgrade a bow so I can get the chance at a Yang's Recurve. It's like a 1 in 8 or something like that. I got very lucky, I know. So I know in this case, I want to upgrade a quiver if I'm going to do the next thing, right? Or if there's any other legendary stuff I want to do, like a necklace or wraps or what have you. So, yeah. That is pretty much the base start, I suppose. So, for the next hour or two, probably, I'm going to go through my Hadric's Gift and get all of this stuff. And I will come back to you for episode 2 when I get the Hadric's Gift. And when I go do the solo Rift level 20 to put the whole thing together. Yeah, I'll bring you in on the solo level 20 Rift and update you when we get there. And then I'll show you some of the more progressive stuff as we get to higher and higher, greater rifts, and how to optimize your character. But yeah, that's going to be all for this episode. Do let me know if you learned something or if you enjoy this series. Like it if you wouldn't mind, I would appreciate that. And check me out on Twitch at Wolfian1. That is where I'm currently streaming right now with all the boys. Alright, that's going to be all for me. And as always, take care, gentlemen.